Have you ever solved a TV mystery so early that it actually made the show's creator mad at you? Because yeah, that literally just happened. Fans of Gen V, the blood-soaked, chaotic offspring of the boys, cracked the biggest twist of the season before it aired. And Eric Kripke, the mastermind behind it all, just admitted he's both impressed and irritated. And honestly, I love that energy. Because when the guy who built the boys' entire universe looks at his fanbase and says, "You people are too damn smart. You know something wild went down. So let's break it down." Because this twist wasn't just shocking, it was layered. It wasn't just about Dean Cipher being a creep with daddy issues. It was about control, deception, and the kind of storytelling that makes you question who's really pulling the strings. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jones, come on. We all guessed Cipher was sus from the start.
Yeah, we did.
But what if I told you the real villain was never Cipher? That the body we saw on screen, that pale scarred shell, was just a puppet? Because that's the truth Kripke didn't want you to catch too soon. Turns out Thomas Godolkin, the founder of Godolkin University, the man whose name we've heard whispered since episode 1, never died. He's been there the whole time, living through Cipher, controlling him, using his body like a disposable disguise, and fans somehow pieced it together weeks before episode 7 dropped. Eric Kripke admitted it himself in an interview. I'm well aware that fans online picked apart the clues. They're very smart, and I give them credit. But in the same breath, I'm irritated. And you can't blame him, because the twist was genius. It had all the classic Kripke ingredients, moral conflict, hidden identity, and just enough gore to make you question your dinner. But the fans, they noticed everything. Cipher's weird diet, those gross protein shakes, the fact that Marie couldn't detect his powers, even though she could sense everyone else's. They looked like throwaway details, right? Nope, they were breadcrumbs. And honestly, this twist makes you rethink the entire show. Because it's not just about one man hijacking another's body. It's about Godolkin's warped philosophy bleeding into the next generation. He's not after power anymore, he's after purity. He wants to cleanse the world of weak soups. Which, let's be real, is terrifying. Because that kind of thinking doesn't just stop at the walls of Godolkin University, it spreads. And here's where it gets deep. Kripke confirmed that The Boys Season 5 will pick up 6 months after Gen V Season 2. You know what that means? The virus of Godolkin's ideology might infect the boys themselves. Think about it. Starlight's already sniffing around Project Odessa. But what if she finds out that Godolkin's consciousness, his actual mind, didn't die with Cipher's body? What if he's still out there, manipulating everything from the shadows? That's not a twist. That's a revolution in storytelling. And you've got to love Kripke's honesty about being irritated. Because deep down, that frustration, that's pride. It means the fandom is paying attention. It means the audience has evolved. Now, let me throw a question right at you. Do you think we, as fans, have gotten too good at decoding these shows? Like, have we broken the system? Because let's face it, Reddit detectives solve mysteries faster than most writers can finish their coffee. And while you think about that, I need you to do one thing for me. Hit that subscribe button. Because the next twist we're about to talk about might change how you watch The Boys forever. And trust me, you don't want to miss that breakdown. Alright, let's talk about the why behind Kripke's irritation. He said the idea for the twist actually came from showrunner Michelle Fazekas and producer Tom Schnoz. And it was supposed to be a slow burn revelation. You were supposed to feel Cipher's strangeness before understanding it. But instead, fans dissected every frame like forensic scientists. And here's where I get it. Kripke wasn't angry because we guessed the ending. He was angry because we robbed ourselves of the shock. There's something beautiful about being surprised, right? That gasp, that no way moment. But modern fandom culture, we analyze, we theorize, we overthink, we kill the mystery before it even breathes. Still, I can't blame us. Because when you build a world as intricate as The Boys, you're practically daring us to look for clues. But you've got to admit, the way the twist landed, even for those who guessed it, still felt insane. Cipher's body being just a shell, Godolkin being alive, and worse, self-righteous. It changes everything about Gen V's moral compass. This isn't just a story about heroes versus villains anymore. It's about creators versus creations, control versus autonomy. And in a weird way, it's Kripke versus his audience. Because now, every line, every character, every disgusting protein shake, it all matters. Have you ever realized that in The Boys universe, the real monsters are never the ones covered in blood? They're the ones smiling, preaching, and calling it for the greater good. That's what makes Thomas Godolkin's return so haunting. Because he doesn't see himself as a villain, he sees himself as a savior. Let that sink in. This man literally hijacked another human body, lived inside it like a parasite, and still believed he was saving the world. And when you think about it, isn't that what every villain in The Boys ultimately does? They justify their control. They twist morality until evil sounds like purpose. But here's where Gen V goes deeper than anyone expected. Godolkin's resurrection isn't just a plot twist, it's a metaphor. He's the physical embodiment of everything corrupt in the soup's world control arrogance, and the belief that strength decides who deserves to exist, and that's what connects him to the bigger story. Because while we were watching Cipher drink protein sludge and mumble about destiny, the Boys writers were setting up a new moral virus, one that's going to bleed straight into The Boys Season 5. Now, imagine this Homelander, Godolkin's ideology, and the political chaos from The Boys all colliding. That's not a theory. That's a ticking time bomb. And here's the genius part. Kripke hinted that the timeline between Gen V Season 2 and The Boys Season 5 is only 6 months. 6 months. That means these two stories are practically breathing the same air. So if Godolkin's consciousness somehow survived, if his control tech or that disgusting bio-link process still exists, he might just be the hidden hand in the next season's chaos. Now tell me, wouldn't that be the ultimate revenge? Fans outsmarted the creator in Gen VU, so he writes a twist no one can predict in The Boys. It's almost poetic. But here's where I have to laugh, because you can feel Kripke's irritation in every quote. They're very smart, he says, but I'm irritated they figured it out. That's the sound of a storyteller caught between admiration and heartbreak. It's like baking a masterpiece of a cake, hiding a surprise inside, and someone walks in before the party and says, "Oh, you hid strawberries in there, didn't you?
Of course you're mad!"
You spent months planning that bite. And I get it. The fans' obsession with clues is both a blessing and a curse. We make these worlds feel alive, but we also dismantle their magic before it even lands. Still, maybe Kripke's frustration is exactly what makes this franchise work, because it's a conversation, a tug of war between creator and audience. He builds the maze, we map it. He hides the monsters, we name them. And that dynamic, that's what keeps The Boys and Gen V electric. Let's be honest, we don't just watch these shows anymore, we hunt them. We analyze frame by frame, decode dialogue, build Reddit threads longer than actual scripts. But what if that's the point? What if Kripke's irritation isn't anger? It's strategy. Because when fans think they've figured it out, they drop their guard. And that's when he strikes again. You can already feel it coming, right? That one twist he's holding back. The one no one will see coming this time. So let's play a little hypothetical. What if Godolkin isn't the only consciousness transfer experiment that succeeded? What if there are dozens? Imagine Homelander waking up one day to realize he's not the only god left standing, or worse, that his power came from Godolkin's experiments all along. Wouldn't that change everything we thought we knew about The Boys? And if that happens, just remember this video, because we called it first. Now, humor me for a second. If you've been following both The Boys and Gen V, you've probably noticed how each spin-off is getting darker, more self-aware. At this point, even the memes about it sound like therapy sessions. My favorite part was when the evil man did the evil thing but made it philosophical. And yet, we keep watching. Because deep down, we don't want heroes anymore. We want truth. That's what this universe gives us, the uncomfortable kind of truth. The truth that the people who say they're saving us are usually saving themselves. The truth that control dressed up as compassion is still control. And the truth that sometimes the smartest fans, the ones who predict every twist, still miss the emotional punch waiting underneath. Because at the end of the day, Gen V isn't about Cipher or Godolkin or even Marie's powers. It's about the cost of curiosity. The price of trying to understand evil so well that you start speaking its language. And maybe that's what Kripke was really irritated about. Not that we solved the puzzle, but that we understood it too well. Now let's turn it around. I want to hear your theory. Do you think Godolkin's consciousness is gone for good? Or is he still somewhere in the system, waiting to hijack another body? Maybe even someone we already trust? Drop your theories in the comments. I read them all, and believe me, some of you scare me with how accurate you get. And while you're down there, tell me this, do you think The Boys will ever end with peace? Or is it destined to burn with one final, world-ending secret? Because if there's one thing we've learned from this universe, it's that peace is just the calm before another explosion. Kripke and his team aren't just writing TV, they're writing modern mythology. And if you think you've seen the last twist, trust me, the next one's already watching you from the shadows. So buckle up, detectives. Keep those theories coming. Keep those eyes sharp. Because the game between the fans and the creators is just getting started. I'm Jones, and this was your Breakdown episode. Stay curious, stay questioning. And remember, in the world of The Boys, knowing too much might just make you the next target.